What up, fam? Throwing this in the group. I want to see if this is working, which it should be. I see one person in here. Let me get my Discord restarted. 3-point game right now. 3-point game. I think we should be good. Here we go. Okay. Do we have anyone in here? Let me check that. Should be good to go. Okay, cool. We are lit. We are lit. Pretty good game right here. Hey, Trevor. What's going on, Trevor? What's up, people? Ooh, Tatum. No good. Lowry flopping, as usual. What's going on, chat? What is going on? Let's go. I'm so excited. What up, Jackson? I'm so excited for this live stream because the tip I dropped today was a massive one. It was a big one. And I really want you guys to be able to ask questions, to talk about it, and get the conversation flowing because this is a massive tip. I'm telling you, this has 2x, 3x, 4x potential in certain players. So I'm really excited. Looks like Kemba just hit a 3. We're going to let people file in real quick, so stay on the stream because you're going to want to be here. The plan for tonight, I'm actually going live on Instagram around 9 p.m. With the Card Lab. We're going to talk about NFL, so you'll hear more of this conversation, but I wanted to talk to you guys about it first. So that's why I want to do this live stream right now. After, they'll also have Adam Lefko. I'm sorry the camera isn't too great on this, but it is what it is. We're here for one thing only, and that's to talk cards. We're not worried about the optics. So this is such a good game. 142 to go. Not sure if you guys are watching. Siakam has not been great in the series. Good tie up there by Jaylen Brown. Yes, the Celtics are hooping. If they get this win, that would be massive. They would be headed probably to the conference finals, which would be nuts. If the Raptors win, a lot can swing. We're going to get started at probably 8:04, 8:05. 2 more minutes. We're going to let people go in. I just posted on the Patreon, so it's got to hit their emails. While you guys are here, how do you guys get the Patreon? Do you have the Patreon app? Do you have notifications on the Patreon app? Do you get it through email? Like when I post to the Patreon, I actually don't know. So, a Kemba PSA 9 for 75. I like that buy a lot, the Sam, man. Okay, so Soul has the app, Evan has the app and email, and TRU has an email. Okay, it's interesting because I'm always curious how you actually get those. If maybe one day we might just take it straight to the Discord, but I know some people don't use the Discord. TRU, do you use the Discord? It's obviously a great resource, great tool where we talk. I make announcements, but some people only see the Patreon. So I wasn't sure if you guys are all in the Discord. I would obviously highly suggest being in it. It's super helpful. But wait, did he got teed up for that? No, he didn't. Oh, wait. What just happened in the game? I wasn't watching. All right, we got 19 people in here. Once we hit 20, we're gonna get started. All right. And I also want to get a post up for I want to get a post up on Snapback, and I'll get a post up after the game as well. Actually, I'll wait for the game to end. All right, so Bryce has the app. So, fam, let's just get it started here. I posted a huge tip at 6 o'clock about NFL running backs and wide receivers. In the post, I elaborated a ton on it, but I have so much to say about it. But I want to answer your guys' questions. So put it in the chat right now. What are your questions? It can be specifically about a player. It can be about a price. It can be about whatever you want to ask. But if you just want to know more about why I think this market specifically is going to blow up, that's fine. But ask questions. Give me a starting point and let me know somewhere where I can start that's going to help you guys out. Wow, 1 point game. 1 point game. All right, we have 20 in here. This Celtics Raptors game is about to end, and I just asked you guys to put your questions in the chat. So put your questions in the chat, and I will get them. Cardiac Kemba. There's your Cardiac Kemba, the Sandman. Big shot right there. Brings the Boston lead to Trace. Ooh, Josh Jacobs Prism. Okay, I see you. S. Rector. Okay, here we go. Our first question. Thank you, Jackson, for asking the question. Jackson Stevens. Excuse me. Do the prices always vary for specific players based on how they perform in-game, or is it somewhat random? That's a great question. So here's the deal. There's more factors into a sports card than, let's say, a fantasy player. So a fantasy player, if they scored 3 touchdowns, that's really good for them, right? If you scored 3 touchdowns with cards, that's also really good. But if you're Marvin Jones and you're 34 and you're not going to be one of the great wide receivers, that's not really going to move your card a ton. If you're doing 2 straight weeks, maybe that'll move it a little, but you're going to look towards the youngers or towards the all-pro and Pro Bowl players. So there's obviously different tiers of cards. There's different ratings of cards, meaning like if the card's in crappy condition, it's going to go for less. But Jackson, to answer your question, players' prices will vary about their personality. If people like them, that's a huge reason why I'm going for Minshew. People love Gardner Minshew. The more they talk about him on social media, the more you see his news conferences on TV, because he's an electric personality, the more people are going to be engaged in him. Perfect example of that is like Kawhi and Tim Duncan. Superstars, absolute superstars. Tim Duncan, maybe the greatest power forward of all time. His card is nowhere near a Kobe. It's nowhere near a Shaq. It's not near those upper echelon players because he was Mr. Fundamental. He was chill. He was, he didn't do much, which is perfectly fine. But you do have to factor in some of those things. So, Jackson, that's a great question to get us started off. Next question is from Connor F. What do you think of a 2014 Prism Devontae Adams rookie base 10 gem mint? So, if that's let me check my pricing sheet. That would be a steal based off what I expect. And this is all I'm going to use throughout the season is, this pricing sheet that I also attached in the group. Right now, I have a Devontae Adams base Prism PSA 10 at $150. So here's the thing, Connor. That would be that would be 50% off, 75, half the price. I would double check. Is it his rookie card? Because you said it is. Put it in the Discord. I don't want other people to steal it, so maybe you do buy it. But if you did your research and that's his rookie-based Prism, which it's very clear what his rookie-based Prism is, for 75, it's an absolute steal. It's half off what they're going for on eBay. You could buy it today, flip it on eBay tomorrow, and double your money in just 24 hours. All right, next question is, what brand do you recommend if you have about $100 a month to spend? This is an incredible question, and I really do like this. So I am a huge fan of Select, but the market feels differently. So I like to follow the market when I'm giving advice and tips, and there's a clear ranking right now. It is Prism. Obviously, Prism, by the way, for people who are new, Prism's like a 2012, 2013, 2014 product on 2016 and 2017. Only it's silvers for the running back. So keep that in mind. Optic came around like 2016-ish. Tops is, way back when. So you'll see like Julio Jones, Hopkins, the older guys will have top space cards. But right now, 2016 on, let's talk about 2016 on. So you've got Prism is the clear number one. And when I say clear number one, I'm talking base cards, because National Treasures and Chronicles and all these wacky brands that are more expensive, they will garner a higher price. You get a National Treasure RPA, that's going to be a higher price, obviously. But I'm talking regular base cards. Prism, Optic, Donruss. Donruss and Optic are super confusing. The Optic will have an O on the card. The Donruss will have the D, but they look extremely similar. And then Select is somewhere in there, right? In between Optic and Donruss, I believe, but they're less consistent and less seen. So be careful with Select. I love Select's products, so you'll see me buying a ton of Select. But for you, so it's a good question. Let me give you an idea of pricing. Donruss is probably the best place to look for you, $100 a month, because you want to have different, you want to be on different players. If you had $100, you want to buy one card, okay, maybe you do buy Calvin Ridley PSA 10 Prism. He goes off week 4, and now you flip it for $150. You got a little more money. But what I would do with that budget is maybe buy a Drew Lock for $10, Donruss. I would buy a Josh Allen for $15. I would buy a Baker for $20. So you're getting a few of those quarterbacks. You can find, I'm sure, Devontae and a bunch of those players, receivers, running backs that I've been talking about for $3, $5, $7, $9, $12. And then you got a nice stallion. Like, imagine instead of your fantasy team, your card team. Imagine if your card team was Dak Prescott, Juju, Amari Cooper, McCaffrey, all for $100. That's a really good team to have. So I would highly, highly, highly suggest looking into Donruss for that $100 a month budget, because then you have a broader base of cards. Ethan with the next question. Oh, wow, he stepped out of bounds. Ethan with the next question is, which players are you highest on? So I've given you guys my quarterback rankings and the guys I've been buying a ton that I still do believe in. I believe in Kyler Murray, obviously Lamar. You guys know how I feel about Lamar. Obviously, Mahomes is a very safe bet. He's got that floor. But quarterbacks, I like Kyler, I like Baker, I like Dak, and I like Minshew. Those are my guys going into the season. A lot of that will change. I was high on Drew Lock, Jaylen Brown, dagger, no good, Marcus Smart. 5 seconds. Van Fleet with 3, with 2 for the tie. No good. Celtics hold on. What a win for Boston. Marcus Smart absolutely huge. 5 threes in the fourth. Wow, what a win. Celtics take a 2-0 series lead. Van Vliet got a decent look at it at the end. Anyways, back to the story. Which players am I highest on? So those are my quarterbacks. My running backs and wide receivers. Let me pull up my list, and I'll give you guys a combination of the players I'm high on along with the price I'm really high on. So number 1, Josh Jacobs, a little overpriced, but Josh Jacobs had breakout potential. And you can clearly see in the pricing that the more recent players are actually higher priced. That has something to do with they're younger, of course, but it's just more trustworthy that their cards are in a better condition. You have to remember the industry is not into running backs and receivers. So they think that in 2016, when you had an Ezekiel Elliott silver, you didn't keep it because it was worth $8 and it just wasn't worth that much. And now that silver obviously would be worth $60. But that's just how it goes. So players I'm high on, these are the breakout players, I think. Kenyon Drake is sneaky. He's a little, cheaper. He's $30 silver prism versus Zeke, who's 60, and McCaffrey, who's 130. Jacobs is really good. And I didn't rank it, but I put those running backs and wide receivers I do like. I like all of them. I like Kamara a lot. I think Saquon's a safe bet. You could see Saquon start to hit some quarterback numbers. He's actually already up there. In my column, I would love to move Mixon up a level because he signed that contract. That's why he was down there. Aaron Jones, I love, but I just don't think he gets the touches. Matt LaFleur says some really weird things about the way they're going to use the running backs. Chubb, similar, 2-down back, crowded backfield. Miles Sanders is with Drew Lock here. Both of them super hyped up, and I was into them, and now they just feel overhyped, so I'm down off them. Let me talk a little bit about players I put in the no column. Dalvin will upgrade him to no, not yet. I want to see him get his contract signed first. Gurley, no. Derrick Henry, to me, he's been worked way too hard. He doesn't have a ton of future potential. A bunch of those guys just seem to be going in the wrong direction. And running backs, remember, running backs can go from this to this. Le'Veon Bell went from this to this very, very quickly. You can see the same thing with Melvin Gordon, Pro Bowl running back, second string running back. Like, running backs move quick. And that is why people are super afraid to get into running backs and wide receivers. But when you think about it, we're just trying to flip week 2 to week 8. We're trying to capitalize on people not understanding Kenyon Drake is a stud. And by week 8, they'll get that and we'll sell him. So those are my running backs. Nightbot. Saquon Barkley, if you just joined, I talked about him for a little. I think he could hit quarterback prices, lower tier quarterback prices. He's really good. He had a down year. It actually could be a pretty good time to be buying Saquon. People will remember how good he really is. Let me get a post up on Snapback really, really quickly, fam. I just got an actual offer for my Jason Tatum optic in the Star Stock competition that I'm in. I'm not sure if you guys have been following that, but while I get this post up, please put some comments in the comment section. Any questions that you guys have, I would love to answer for you. I'm going to get this posted. Keep getting your questions in. I have a couple more questions to go through that are saved up. AJ Strolley. I want to finish the wide receiver conversation and the Sandman. So in the meantime, though, put your questions in the comment section. Also, while you're here, subscribe to the channel, the YouTube channel, just so whenever I post new content, whenever I go live here, you will get it. So put some questions in the chat. Don't be shy. I see some people being shy. Let me just get this posted. Celtics take a 2-0 lead. Wow. That's crazy. That is crazy. No questions from anyone? Where are my questions at, fam? Come on. Someone write something just so I know you guys are there and that the stream's working. There we go. Okay. All right. Back to the wide receivers now. So the wide receivers that I really love. Number one is Michael Thomas, because people look at too many social media memes, and they do play a part into prices sometimes, but he just set the receiving record. So he's like a stud. Devontae Adams, Julio Jones, DeAndre Hopkins. Let me talk about Julio and D-Hop real quick. Julio Jones is a specimen, absolute specimen. So is DeAndre Hopkins. Both are going to have incredible years. And what people in the higher tier market aren't going to do, they're not going to get nitty gritty. They're not going to look for the different variations of Topps Chrome and be like, you know what? That looks like it's a card in good condition for $30. I'm going to snag it. They're not going to look for a D-Hop for 40. They just want the PSA 10s. They don't want to do the research. They see there's go do the research. You have $100 to spend. Go buy 2 Julio Jones and a D-Hop card. Do your research. Find those cards. Scout them out, because there's not a ton of them. What the higher bidders like to do, they like to buy lots. They're not lazy. They just have money, so they're not going to take the time. But this is where you can capitalize. You can start rounding up a $30 Julio, a $30 D-Hop, a $34 Julio. Be very careful with your money. Be smart about it. Put a lot of 10 together. Boom, $50 easy per card, I'm saying. And that's $500 if you got 10 of them. 340 or 500. Take your profits. Take $100. Buy a Christmas gift. Happy Hanukkah. You know the deal. So those are 2, D-Hop and Julio Jones. Really do your research. You can make some nice margins if you have a smaller. Other wide receivers I love. Amari Cooper is going to have an incredible year. Mikey Evans, obviously, with Brady, they'll have a lot of hype. OBJ, I think it's a bounce back year for him. DJ Moore and Ridley, those are probably two of my sleepers. They broke out last year, but this year, to me, they can take that next step. I think Ridley and Julio could definitely do a dance like Godwin and Evans did. Two Pro Bowlers on the same team. DJ Moore, he's now the number one. Robbie Anderson will actually take the top off. That'll be kind of helpful for him. Could cut into his targets a little with Curtis Samuel as well, McCaffrey as well. So do be careful with DJ Moore. I might actually bump him down after talking that through. Cortland Sutton, I don't know why his stuff's so low. $8 for a Prism rookie, that's a freaking steal. This guy was in the Pro Bowl. Everyone loves Drew Lock. They get more help. Jerry Jeudy will help take coverages away. DJ Chark is interesting. DK Metcalf is a bit overrated to me because they still have Lockett on that team. But you look at a person like Scary Terry. Now, Scary Terry and Hollywood Brown, super interesting to me. And Deebo Samuel. Deebo is great. If you can find his Prism rookies for $5, buy up 20 of them. Those will be worth $10 by week 2. By week 2. Those will be worth $10. That would be my number one buy if I were a low-budget buyer right now. I'd find every Deebo Samuel Prism rookie on the market, and I would pay up to $10, $11, $12 because I genuinely believe you'll see them at $15, $20, $25. That's my call right here, right now. I could be wrong, so be careful, but I think that's a crazy bet. I'm going to be doing the $10 challenge, and you know what? I'll probably try and find a Deebo Samuel rookie Prism card. That's going to be where I start. I'm going to pull up Star Stock right now because I saw one of those questions. I'm actually going to look if they have any Deebo. I don't think they do. I went to buy one earlier, but I don't recall them. Let's see what they have in stock for Deebo. It is loading. All right, Deebo Samuel. Yeah, so Deebo Samuel, look, they're already going for the last sale was $17. Wow. Okay. And Optics, one's for sale for $10, which I also don't hate, to be honest. But I think you can find them for $5-ish on eBay. So, like I said, go find them. Facebook groups, like just be smart. Go be creative. Search on Twitter and find those Deebo Samuel prisms. Send them in a Star Stock. You make $10 right there, right here, right now. So the last few names I'll touch on before we move on to the next questions are the rookies. So CeeDee Lamb, Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs, and then I had J.K. Dobbins and Edwards-Helaire. Their cards aren't out yet. The college cards are. Stay away from them. But go look for their NFL cards when they come out. They come out in the next couple weeks, I'm hoping. But with their shoots, stuff has kind of been switched around. So that's like all the players I love. You can always reference that sheet, and you can always hit the Discord up. So next question we're going to roll with is AJ Stroley. Do you ever buy boxes, packs, or is that a waste of time? I haven't bought a sports card since early 90s, and it's overwhelming. AJ, great question. It is overwhelming. Use the Discord. We will totally help you out. Use the site. I'll repost the site in the Discord. It's super helpful. It takes you through a bunch of beginner level stuff. I've bought some boxes and packs, but you do have to understand it's gambling. And that's all it really is. There's no guarantees. And you could buy a $100 pack and you could end up with nothing. You could buy a $100 pack, you end up with a $1,000 card. If you want to chase specific players, an interesting angle is to buy into breaks. So you love Deebo Samuel, but you also love Jimmy G or Kittle. Like the Niners may have value there. A lot of people buy into breaks to PC stuff and to get their favorite team, but that's an interesting way to chase down your player. But at the end of the day, it should be for fun. It should not be for money. The only boxes or packs you should buy to make money is ones you buy from Walmart and you sell on eBay for 3x the cost. Sam, man, what's opinion on buying Kamara with the whole trade request ordeal? I don't think he gets traded. I don't think he gets touched because he's a 3-down back. I do think the Saints will sign him and give him the money. I think Kamara is actually a pretty safe play. In anticipation of this stream, I actually bought cards for tonight that I saw on Twitter. I knew I was dropping the tip tonight, and I grabbed 4 cards, 2 Dalvins, a Kamara, and a Saquon. So if anyone wants those, I'm not going to make a single dollar on them. I will flip them over to you, but this is one of the benefits of being in the group. I saw the deal on Twitter. I didn't want to send it to anyone because I didn't want to ruin the tip, but I bought them up, and once I get them, I would be down to sell them. So if It's and they're PSA 10 of Optic. 2 Dalvins for sale, a Saquon, and a Alvin Kamara. So DM me on Discord, put in the chat, and we'll chat. Next question is, I know I've asked a few questions, but how does Star Stock work? So Star Stock's super awesome. Let me give you an example of how Star Stock works. So I got this David Montgomery card in front of me. All the cards that you buy and sell in Star Stock are in Star Stock's vault. They have a vault in New Hampshire or in Maine, somewhere like that, and they hold every card. If you, the Sandman, wanted to buy this David Montgomery, I would put it up. I would say, okay, it's for sale for $5. You would make a bid, or you could just buy it for $5. You could make a bid for $3. I would accept that bid. And now it gets transferred within the vault to your possession. So you don't actually touch the card. I don't touch the card. I pay a 5% seller fee. You pay no tax, no eBay fee, nothing. It's just 5% off my end. That makes it really easy to flip cards in the moment. You don't have to handle them. You don't have to ship them. There's no taxes. There's nothing. So really fun way to trade cards for money. And I've been buying a bunch of running back wide receiver stuff on Star Stock because I think it's going to see a nice burst. Next question is Jackson Stevens. Do you recommend just investing in NFL cards because the season's around the corner? I would go all in on NFL personally. I really would. NBA is a super dangerous. Everything's heightened right now. As you can see, like Spida and Jamal Murray cards have skyrocketed. Whoever loses tonight, that card will plummet 20%. So I would just get in on NFL because the NFL market, and this is what I wrote in the blog post in the Patreon, is that the NFL is 9 days away. And it doesn't feel like that. And no one's talking about it. And fantasy football is not like a huge hurrah thing this year. So people are going to try and catch up once they see that the NFL is like here and here to stay. So I think just by the NFL, starting week 1, I think you'll see a 10% burst in the market. Remember the rush into the NBA market when the bubble restarted. TJ Warren base cards going for like $50+. This is what I'm seeing week 1 NFL. Soul asks, what is the tight end market like? I feel like Mark Andrews explodes with Hayden Hurst gone. I actually think Hayden Hurst explodes without Mark Andrews. He was playing super well. But tight end market, I would stick to Kittle. I would stick to – I don't know. I can't see them commanding a huge price tag, but this is probably what people said about running backs and wide receivers. So I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. Look, you can't get hurt that way if you're just looking to flip, but I just don't know on tight ends. Nish had the same question. Kittle and Kelsey are young enough. So is Andrews. I would go more towards a Kittle and a Kelsey who could become all-timers. Therefore, their cards could be vintage. I don't think I would be in tight ends to flip. I could be wrong on that. I absolutely could. Ethan, yes. So Matt, that's a great question about Star Stock. Matt's question is, so they stay at pretty much mint condition then. So that is interesting that you asked that. So Star Stock has rated all the cards that come in. Obviously, they're PSA 10, BGS 9. Those are the ratings. But any raw cards, they'll take a look at, and they'll grade it themselves essentially off the naked eye. And they'll place it into 3 tiers: Star Stock A, Star Stock B, Star Stock C. C is going to be trash. B is going to be 8s or below. And A's are going to be 9s and 10s of PSA. So I only buy Star Stock A. There's actually people who can flip Star Stock B. Those definitely get flipped on the site. Same with PSA 9s, BGS 9s. They only accept Star Stock A. Okay, very nice, Brian. I didn't realize that. That's an awesome change to the platform, which means if you send in a card, you're essentially guaranteeing it's an 8 or above, and majority will be 9 or above. I'm not buying those cards to buy them, get them sent, and then grade. I just think it's too risky without ever seeing the card. But you're getting high condition cards, which puts a lot of trust in them, but I trust them. I know the owner. I know the CEO. He's a really good guy. Do NFL defensive players have value or only offensive skill positions? This is tough. You saw Bosa last year have a little value. I would stay away. Just think about people in general and how we behave. You got the NBA bubble going on, and people are going crazy because you see players scoring. you don't see Marcus Smart and you don't see these defensive first players really getting involved in the card market. And it's because people like scores. And that's why they like the quarterbacks. And that's why I think they'll like the running backs and wide receivers. Once again, tight ends, defensive. I just think there's too much of a market for running backs and wide receivers to subject yourself to something like defense or tight ends. So good question, though, Patrick. Next question is Nish. Nish says, based on your research, where do you believe the football market stands relative to basketball or soccer? This is a super loaded question, super tough question that I'm excited to tackle. So I can't place it in any tier. Football is the biggest sport in America in terms of popularity. The most people are going to watch those games. Soccer is the biggest international sport, but the card market, for the most part, has been an American market. Basketball is huge. You've got social media, you've got influencers, you've got a bunch of people who are always talking basketball. Football, though, it just makes a lot of sense for sports cards. Like fantasy football is so huge. Betting on football is so huge. This is a bet on your fantasy football players, which is why I think it'll continue to rise. Where it stands, that's an impossible question to answer just because honestly, I don't quite understand if you want me to place it like is above or below. I think it has a ton of potential. I think one of those potentials is in running backs and wide receivers. Why would a Daniel Jones or a Baker Mayfield or any of those quarterbacks who I think still could be good, why would they be more expensive than Christian McCaffrey when Christian McCaffrey is the best running back in the NFL, so much better than the 19th best quarterback in the NFL? It just doesn't make sense because the market's told you running backs and wide receivers don't matter. I think we're going to see a big change in that as people catch up and catch on to the sport card market. All right, next question is from Bobby Fisher. Bobby, what's up, man? He says, I'm a complete newbie to sports cards, been a fan of Snapback for a few years. Any tips on where to start? Welcome to the sports card community, the hobby as we call it, because, and this is what I was thinking about today, if you don't enjoy sports cards, this isn't for you. I know I always preach there's money to be made, and there is a ton of money to be made, but the feeling I get on mail day and just talking to people, it's super fun. So enjoy sports cards. Where to start? Go to here. I'll put in the chat right now. Let me get the link. So this is a great place to start. It not only has my beginner level stuff, but it's Gary V's beginner level stuff. It's entertaining sports card content. Do a ton of research. Do 10 hours of research just learning all about sports cards so you know the terminology, you know the names, use the Discord, etc. Figure out your budget. Figure out how risk averse you are. Are you high risk? Are you throwing $100 at something because you want to have fun? Are you throwing $1,000 because you want to make a lot of money? You're throwing $10 because I talk a lot about sports cards and it seems fun. Figure that out first. Let me know, and then we'll go from there. But there's a ton of different options in the Patreon for different price tags. But do your research. I think that's a huge part of it. Ethan says, how much are base DAC prisms? I had them priced out earlier. The last thing I saw, DAC PSA 10s are up to over $800, which is insane. I think I was telling people to buy for $500 like 2 weeks ago. His ungraded stuff, I'm not sure what that is, but if you're new, go to the snapexports.co/cards. Look at the how to find out the value of a card. Search on eBay, DAC base prism, rookie, sold listing, sort by recent. Boom, that's it. All right, Joel Espinoza. What do you feel about optic cards for football? Absolutely. I bought 4, like I was telling the group, if you just joined, I bought 4 optic PSA 10s today to sell to the group for no added cost. Absolutely an option. Totally a great option. I think it's going to be Prism, Optic, Don, Russ. I think Select's going to waiver by player in between. You can even study the Select market. That could be an interesting case study for you guys. Optic it's number 2 in my opinion. Ethan, so Ethan's question, and guys, keep throwing your questions in the chat because I want to get to as many as possible. Ethan said, are Select prisms less than regular base prism? If so, how much? I don't know exactly what that means. So let's just talk general cards. You've got Silver Prism. Silver is going to be that hollow on the optic. It's that shiny card. But it's Prism and Select are different types of cards. Charles Cyclone. What cheap buys would be good right now before football season? So a couple players that I've talked about. Deebo Samuel, Hollywood Brown, Gardner Minshew. Let me go to this pricing list. It's all the Kamara for $12 for an optic. Josh Jacobs, $10 for an optic. I really think all these running back wide receivers really go, oh my God. Amari Cooper, $8 to $10 for a Prism is insanity. Go buy Amari Coopers. You know what? That's my guy. For you, Charles Cyclone. Go buy Amari Cooper Prisms and you will be a happy man. Lucas Swanson, who do you use for breaks and what do you like breaking the most? Great question, fun question. Breaks are when someone buys, hold on. Breaks are when someone buys a box of cards. They take this box of cards that cost, let's call it $300, right? And this is Optic that you guys have been talking about. Optic Donruss, that's why it's confusing. The Optic have the O on it, which I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Yeah, you can right there. An O. Donruss will have like the D in the bottom corner. So that box is $300. A break is where a breaker will sell the Pelican spot for $100. They'll sell the Celtics for $14. They'll sell the Jazz for $6. Based on the value, perceived value of those cards, because we know Zion has a bigger cost than a Taco Fall and an Oni on the Jazz. They'll price that out. You pick your spot. There's also random breaks. So they'll say, okay, this box is $300, 30 spots. $10 per person, random. Everyone gets a random team. We open the cards. We see what you get. So that's a break. Who do I use for breaks? I use two people. One, Card Labs, who I'll be going on Instagram Live. I would love for you guys to join that after this at 9 o'clock. And then I use Blez. I love Blez. Great energy. I love breaking NT. National Treasure is my favorite product. It's a little expensive, so I only do it like once every couple months, but it's a super fun rush when I do. Only cards though normally, so it's not as long as maybe a Prism or an Optic or a Donruss break. But those are my two breakers, Card Lab and Blez. And if you guys ever want to do, oh my God, why is this guy always trolling? Hold on, I gotta get the trolls out of here. What? Oh my God. Hold on, fam. I'm sorry. Someone let the troll get in the group, and I gotta ban him. Sorry, fam. Oh my God, so annoying. All right. Anyways, back to the questions. Do you see Nish? Very important question that I want all 25 of you in here listening to. Do you see a long-term market for running backs and receivers? The answer to this question is any running back or wide receiver I buy in the next 10 days before the season starts, I would love to not own by the end of the season. I would love to flip them. So I do think there will always be a market for them, but I do believe that the long-term market and the high risk is like it's not worth season to season. You have a player like Melvin Gordon, right, who's a Pro Bowl running back. You hold him through the preseason, he doesn't get his contract, and now you're out of luck. All right, next question is from Nightbot. Have you heard of the market movers data tool? No, I have not. Brian Goldstein said, do I know when Prism Rookie 2020 drops? I don't. I got to find that out for you guys. Austin says, if buying a Prism box, NBA or NFL, the better buy right now. NBA is crushing, but NBA season is about to end. I go with NFL. Matt Gorman, Card Labs, Blez Breaks, message in the Discord. We'll get you set up with a little discount code. Austin says, I got into the last soccer break on Card Lab. It was a lot of fun. Could you continue to post links to them when you jump in? Yeah, absolutely. Follow them on social media because they're always posting deals, discounts, and when they're going live. But I would love to share. Keep throwing your questions in, fam. We still have about 20 minutes. How much does it usually cost to trade cards? Sorry. How much? Matt, the the Discord is in the most recent Patreon post. It said NFL tip and new Discord. So click through the link there. Ethan, how much does it cost to grade cards? Great question. There's a couple tiers, and it depends if you send in yourself or use a group sub. I personally would use a group sub. Use KK Sports Cards. That's who I use. You just DM them on Instagram, and they'll get back to you. They are a little backed up. They're setting up a website. They've got priority. They've got 20-day, and they've got like 45-day. They're all taking about twice as long. So 45-day could take a few months, 20-day could take a month and a half, or you have priority, which is supposed to be 5-day. It took me about 10 to 12 days, which obviously isn't a big deal. Those are going to be different price tiers. So priority, maybe it's a K. Here, I'll put it in the chat. KK Sports Cards on Instagram. So yeah, I would use them. Different tiers based on how soon you want to get players. Perfect example would be like if you have an NBA player like Joel Embiid. I saw some Joel Embiid raws I could have bought. If you send that in 45-day and it's going to take 3-4 months, not a big deal because the NBA season's done. They're out of the playoffs. The NBA season won't be back until potentially early next year. But what I did with my soccer cards was I graded them now because I could see the market moving up and down. I just wanted to get them in person and then make that decision. So based off price range and the specific card, that'll kind of vary. All right, next question is from Nish. When a player switches teams, thoughts on investing in their first card in the team jersey? Sometimes I feel like there's a market there. Other times it seems there isn't. You've seen that with the Legends a little. Legends, I'm talking LeBron James, his Prism stuff went absolutely insane. His first year Laker cards. I see it. I get it. They probably have to win a championship in that jersey to become valuable. I don't hate it. I just wouldn't do it like, let's say Kamara goes to the Bills. I wouldn't pick up a ton of Kamara Bills cards because there's no guarantee or very far from guarantee he's ever good on that team. He's ever a Pro Bowler. He's ever winning anything. And I would stick to rookies as much as you can. Joel, who are your players to invest in? Sorry. If you are on – I dropped my cards. If you are on a budget, who do I have in front of me here? Anyone interesting? No. Debo Samuel, Hollywood Brown, Josh Jacobs, Optic, Kamara Optics. Brian, I can't find any Amari Cooper Prisms on eBay. Yes, they are tough to find because they're older cards. He was an older player, and people didn't sell running back and wide receivers. Be smart. Twitter, Facebook, ComC, all Star Stock. Look around. You got to do your research. This is where the budget investors are going to make a killing. Samuel, what Twitter accounts should we gain to gain knowledge, to follow to gain knowledge on sports cards? So if you want to gain knowledge, I would check out Gary Vee for sure. I would check out Dan Fleischman. I would check out my own. I'll continue to post, tag, retweet stuff. But if you want to see cards, go search up Hobby Connector and Hobby Connection. Really good retweeter. And this is the best part about Twitter. Twitter's an incredible resource. You follow like 5 card guys. They tag each other. You're following 25 guys. You're seeing cards. My whole timeline is sports cards. That's all it is. And I'll see good deals come across the timeline all the time. And then you can post, say, I'm looking for Amari Coopers. Tag 5 of those guys. They'll retweet. They'll tag their friends. It's a really cool little mini network. TRU Breed. So it sounds like this market is for new cards. I got Jerry Rice's and Barry Sanders fleet cards. So no, what I wrote in the post is vintage will always be a safer bet and a long-term bet. Randy Moss, Fitzgerald, Rice, Sanders, Walter Payton, all those guys, always a safer bet. I'm talking, here's the tip, running backs, wide receivers, buy them now, flip them now, make some dough. Ethan Tracy says, I found a couple Coopers for 25. I think that's probably a little high. Where'd you find those, Ethan? Let me know. Yeah. So Austin Collins says, when celebrities are getting into this and it's continuing to blow up, BR posted an article about B-ball cards. Is that a good or bad thing? It drives prices up for those of us with lower budgets. Well, Austin, here's the thing. It's a good thing because there's more people in the industry. Yes, prices become higher, but it makes these running back and wide receiver cards more valuable. You now have someone who's going to come in and buy the McCaffrey off you that you bought for 100 or 10 in his Don Russ for 20, because 20 is still a definite price that people will pay. It's all good if more people are in the market. It's always good. It's just going to make it a little tougher to find those value deals. But thankfully, we have tiers. We have Dom Russ for quarterbacks that make it able to buy a Kyler Murray. You have Optic for wide receivers, running backs of the top tier, or you have a Prism for the lowest tier wide receivers. So I know it drives up prices, but if you're going to make money, you need prices to go up. So it is what it is. Nish, how do you go about studying the market? Strategies and tips you use? Does this vary by sport? Incredible question here from Nish about studying, and you guys need to study the market. This is what I do daily, constantly. First of all, have your ear to the ground. See what people are selling, see what they're buying, look in the chats, just think about it. If everyone's trying to buy Amari Cooper cards, it'd probably be smart to buy one and then sell it to them. But what do I use to study the market? I normally come up with a theory and I say, okay, could running back and wide receivers blow up? Star ones. So I take Devontae Adams, I take Saquon Barkley, I take Christian McCaffrey. I go on eBay, I search up prices, and I look. On August 15th, his PSA 10 optics sold for 100. On August 22nd, it sold for 120. On August 28th, it sold for 200. Okay. In just a week, his prices have doubled. That means there's a ton of interest in those players. So that's what I mean when I'm saying study the market. Use eBay and start tracking. Another great thing to do, pick a player mentally, or write it down, pick 3 players, and put everyone on your watch list. Put all their bids, search them up. So you search up Gardner Minshew optic, and you mark down 3 card lots, single cards, PSA 10s, and you start to see, okay, it went for 8 last week. Now it's 12. Now it's 17. Okay, now I see that this trend is happening. Maybe I get in. And there's always the complication of, is it too late? Sometimes it is, but most of the time it's not going to be. And you just got to understand, damn, I wish I could have had it for 10 last week. I'll buy it for 15 and sell it for 30 in 2 weeks, because the guy in 2 weeks is going to say, damn, I wish I could have had it for 15. I'll buy it for 30 and sell it for 50, because if Gardner Minshew is who I think he's going to be this year, his stuff will continue to rise. Austin, I've noticed baseball cards are pretty cheap. Do you think it's a good time to invest in baseball? I'm not going to give a ton of advice on baseball. I'm not a huge believer in the market. They've obviously been the traditional. Everyone collected baseball cards. The Trout card sold for a ton. Baseball cards have a ton of base stuff, paper stuff. It's just a really weird market, and the sport is going in the wrong direction. NBA, NFL rising, MLB declining. So that's why I personally stay away. Matt, because I'm from Australia, it's hard for me to buy and flip quickly. That's why I would seriously look into Star Stock, because you don't have to touch the cards. You don't have to move them around. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. You see a good price, you sell for that price. When the season ends for the NBA, what players do you plan to stock up on? Personally, you like Hero, says the Sandman. I love RJ Barrett. I think the guy finished top 5 in all rookies. You got him in the New York market. He's the number 3 pick. He's so far behind of Ja and Zion, and I just don't know if he's that far behind in real life basketball. Maybe Ja. Zion looks whatever. Off seasons are a beautiful time to buy. Like, you have off-season football. If you bought 6 months ago, you bought Saquon Barkley, McCaffrey, you bought Devontae Adams, you even bought the quarterbacks. They're all going through the roof. So great time to buy as the off-season after a couple months after the Super Bowl ends. Matt, would you stock up on RJ now or in a few weeks? I would wait till after the whole NBA. I think we're going to see a nice little drop-off from the NBA, and then that's where I would start to get into buying my basketball. Samuel, what places other than eBay do you look to buy and sell? Great question, because eBay takes a very high fee that can kill your profit margins. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook groups, same places you can buy, same places you can sell. Create that network. Use the Discord. Like I said, create that network. Even if you have 50 followers on Twitter, if you have 50 followers and 10 are big into sports cards, and you can share it with them, that's a really good opportunity. So be creative. Blaz Sports Card says, keep it up. That's one of the breakers I use. They're absolutely the mans. Samuel Ward, what places other than eBay do you look to buy, sell? I just answered that. How much does team success affect a player's card price, especially someone like Minshew and Saquon? Great question. So I'm assuming that's a fake Blez, but whatever. Let me answer the question of Ethan, because this is an excellent question. How much does team success affect a player's card price? It affects it a lot. You see it in the playoffs. The players go through the playoffs, it goes up because championships are what people covet. That's how they rate and rank a lot of players. And that's where it is dangerous with Minshew and Saquon, especially with Minshew, a player who could sit out. Like if they're 0-8, there's no reason Josh Dobbs isn't getting the snap. So it definitely affects. I think with that being said, there is the expectation. So a player like Minshew, right, people know they're tanking. So if he plays out of his mind and wins 6 or 8 games, that's going to go in the complete opposite direction, up, because everyone set the bar so low. So it plays a part, but everyone's plays a part in a very certain specific way. Matt, can you buy or sell in the Discord? Yes, I created the marketplace to buy and sell. That's a perfect place to do it. I've done flash sales. People have sold stuff there before. Absolutely, that's where I want you guys to use the chat. All right, so I got to go hop on this Instagram Live with the Card Lab. I would love for you guys to join me, come through, blah, yada, yada, yada. But it's been a pleasure. Use the Discord, and I will talk to you guys later tonight after that. Peace, fam.